So I'd like now to call upon the floor Mr. Dúcas, the newly elected mayor of Athens, who is a man of energy. He is a scientist, he's specialized, and he at the same time has a view on energy. So please, Mr. Dúcas, you are welcome to take the floor. Thank you very much. Good morning. It's a great pleasure for me to be here in this conference. I have been here under different capacities, either as professor or as responsible person for energy. So I have the honor to be now the mayor of Athens, and I have prepared a brief presentation to address the conference, aiming at presenting three whys. Why climate change? Why Athens? Why new green contract, Green Deal with Athens? And I'll start with why climate change. I want to share with you two or three things that have really shaken us in the past period. The first one is Daniel, an extreme phenomenon, not that extreme, mind you, because we've had previous such phenomena, such as the ΗΜΕΡΑΣ storm. It had been localized in Thessaly, in Volos, in Karditsa, but not only in Greece, mind you, but in other areas of the Mediterranean where we had really harsh phenomena. The Mediterranean is in the heart of the climate crisis. This is proven by these extreme phenomena. In the past month in Greece, we had casualties, disasters at the same time from wildfires and floods within 1 month. And this goes to show how big is the deregulation. And we have new terms. We have the Medicane, the hurricanes. We have extreme phenomena of turbulence. This takes place in many different areas in the region. We had precipitations that were really, really intense, that summed up to the quantity of water of precipitations within 3 years. We see that the region of the Mediterranean has a terrible increase of temperature, closing up to 4 degrees Celsius, and this is very intense. Globally, of course, we had July and August that had been the warmest, the hottest months as of the beginning of measurements. As if this was not enough, I have to point out that we are under pressure due to extreme fires, wildfires. Not only in Attica, Parnitha has suffered many wildfires, and 23% of forests have been burned in the period 2017-2023. This goes to show that an important lung of the region has been reduced by 1/4, and we are trying to see how we can bridge this gap, because we're talking about oxygen and quality of air. So this brings me to Attica, Athens, the weather data, and several climate models. Unfortunately, as a climate scientist, I have to say that their assumptions are quite optimistic. In reality, climate crisis develops and evolves much quicker than the models. And here we can see that the periods of increased temperatures and heat waves are tripled, pertaining to temperatures above 35, and they are 5 times higher for temperatures above 27 degrees. So we need to act immediately. In Athens, things are even worse, since there are these conditions around us in the Mediterranean. Mediterranean is under pressure with the burned areas in Athens, in Attica. We are talking about the city Athens, which is full of cement and very few green areas. And there is, yes, another condition that stresses things. Most rivers and streams have been built, have been covered. And unfortunately, there are serious problems in Kifissos, in Ilissos, problems of adequacy. So the first data show that we need to have new studies, new networks, because the existing infrastructure has long become obsolete. It's beyond its capacities. And even now, there is no provision as to how we can shield Athens and Attica. We need to see what will happen with the 5 mountains and the 7 hills of Attica to create a shield of resilience for the capital and the region overall. This is why we introduce yet another condition, green areas, under a different approach, not from the point of view of lifestyle or quality of life, but from the point of view of survival. This is because compact green areas act as sponges that are able to absorb rainwater, creating paths that will reach these infrastructure. And of course, they provide oxygen, which means life. Think about figures. 3,000 deaths in Athens are directly or indirectly linked to pollution and the measures that are not there to combat and tackle pollution. So we need to plant 25,000 trees immediately and increase the number of trees that we plant every year. The percentage of trees in Athens is 11%, where the EU average is 30%. Of course, this will allow us to achieve a reduction of high temperatures in several areas in the city, a reduction by at least 5 degrees. Using green roofs, green terraces, etc. And this will allow us to approach the 15 minutes city, which is not an imaginary narrative. What does it actually mean vis-a-vis green areas? We have the 330-300 rule. So we need to, by opening our windows, to be able to see 3 trees, 30% green coverage in the neighborhood, and in 300, we need to have 300 parks at least. We are talking about cities where we will have the right to enjoy oxygen, clean air, and there is also this environmental law that has been passed. And I will conclude with the energy part of this whole thing. You can see the figures. These are figures before the energy war and the chaos that prevailed. One can see the cost, the social the cost of life, and this is associated with the revenues, and we can see the heat or eat dilemma. It's a dilemma for vulnerable citizens and poor households. So it is more important than ever in Greece, in Athens, as well as in Thessaloniki, to consider this. And it is really crucial to exploit all tools such as energy communities to give power. In 5 years' time, the aim is for 40 to 50,000 households to have low price power. Those households that are under social tariffs. These people are forced to beg for their heating, etc. So this will allow them to be parts of an energy community. This will allow them to have a whole different perspective in their lives for the next 25 years. And I'm really glad to hear the minister declaring yesterday that there was going to be a very significant intervention, a new tool. I would like us to study this to be able to exploit it. And I will conclude with this picture, this transparency, an old transparency from Amsterdam, an old picture from Amsterdam, and I've used artificial intelligence to color it here. It is a true photograph showing how Amsterdam used to be in the past, with too many vehicles, too many cars. And I remember when I was doing my PhD back in 2003, 2004, I had visited Copenhagen, and people were discussing there how we were going to get rid of cars from the city and opt for different ways, such as bicycles, etc. And back then, people would tell us, well, these can't happen here because here is the Mediterranean. And now we try to emulate and imitate Copenhagen. And I will conclude with an example with cars to show you that even this can be achieved in Athens, provided we stop providing excuses and opt for green solutions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Haris Dúkas. The Dúkas model has proved to be very successful, even in keeping the time frame, exactly 10 minutes. Thank you for keeping your time slot, Mr. Dúkas, because it is important for our